I had a couple comments on my day two question, asking about how I'm calling functions like just saying three, or I'm saying things like dash t, all of this stuff. So I wanted to kind of address this. So every year, just to make my life a little bit easier, kind of spice things up, I write a little bit of like a suite just so it can run everything. I have some templates for like other languages that I've used in the past, but this year I decided to write one from scratch just to kind of get a little bit of practice. And so what my suite is basically this little command line argument, or this command line program, where I can do this stuff. So the functions that it has is I can pass in just a day for it to do. Like this will run day 5, this will run day 2. And then I can also tell it to run test cases. And so if I look at this, it'll run my day 2 test cases. If I look at my day 1 test cases, nope. So I'll specify day 1 and I'll give it a test case and it'll run my test cases for that. And then I can also tell it to debug just to print out all of my things just in case I get an error message. And so first things first, the way my project is structured is I have this main file and then I have all of my source code. So each day's code is separated into its own thing. Like here's the day I just did. And then I have this data folder. And so for example, for day 1, I have my input here. And this is what it reads when I just go ahead and say this. And then I also have this folder called tests, where it has all of these different files. And what this does is if I say .test or -t, it will go ahead and automatically read all of these files and call it with that, then print it out like this. And then also just for a little quality of life, I have it tell me how much time it takes. Just a fun metric. So if I run all of these together, so far my code's at 44 milliseconds for everything. So the way that I did this, so first of all is I used argparse to give me this kind of fancy little command line thing where I can do stuff like this with help. It's a nice little library. And then I go ahead and systematically import every single day using import lib, which is basically just like automated doing what I used to do, which was something like this. I used to just go ahead and literally do this and then put these in a list. But I think this is a little bit uglier code, but way shorter, you can see. But I'm basically importing every single day as a function. And then I have a function where I can run the day. And this here is going ahead and taking the path, whatever, all this stuff, and calling the function itself here. And then it's doing things like timing it, and then printing out what the actual time is and saying the results. And then I just print it out nice and pretty. And then run tests, I basically just go ahead and look into the test directory, look at all of the files in there, and call it on each file like that, and print it out. And then finally down here, this is where it handles all of the kind of inputs. So here, if I give no day, so if I just run it like this, it'll go ahead and print out the year first, and then go ahead and try to print every day's code until it recognizes that it gets no result back from calling it, meaning it just returned null or none, and then it stops. And then otherwise, if I give it a specific day, so if I say like 3, it'll go ahead and try to just run that day. And then if I tell it to run tests, it'll do that. So that's my test suite. I don't want to go too in depth into it because it's a little bit complicated and I don't know who really cares about that. But if you want to go ahead and actually add this for your own project, you can go to my GitHub repo, which is linked in the comments, and just go to my 2023 here and just clone this or download this and change like the source code and then also change your inputs to your own. But yeah, if anyone has any more questions about it or wants this as like a separate repo or a nice little way so you can clone it easier, let me know. But yeah, that's my test suite.